I'm really interested in vocal training. Why is that important? Because I hear you talk about it a lot. What is it, and how is it important to us, especially the members in the group? We're all entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and business professionals. How can that help us?
Sure. Well, vocal training, people think of it as singing, first of all. What I do is not teaching people to sing. There are better people for that. I like to sing, but I'm not a professional singer. I'm a professional speaker. The reason that it's important to train your voice is the same reason it's important to train your body. So we go to a gym to build our physique and our musculature because it responds to exercise, right? Well, your voice is part of your body. Your voice is a muscle. You've got four muscles raising your vocal cords or lowering them, depending on what you're doing when you speak. For instance, yawning or swallowing, these cause your vocal cords to expand and contract and move in different ways. And so when you learn to improve your breath support, the aspects of your physiology that impact your tone of voice, you become a more influential and effective communicator. That's really what I talk about because, well, as a jumping off point, communication is not about content. I know online people are fond of saying content is king to a point, but if the delivery style, your branding vocally, if you will, if the delivery style that you use to communicate that content repels people rather than attracts them or bores them, then they won't stick around long enough to hear the meaning of your message. 7% of communication is the words that you use. The other 93% is body language and tone of voice. And body language actually influences, and when done properly, can support and magnify your tone of voice. So what I talk about is how to increase the impact of your style in terms of how you deliver what it is that you know.
Amazing. I mean, hopefully my first 10 seconds of on this show didn't like repel everyone to like switch off the live. But that, yeah.
Not not at all. 'Cause what do I hear from your voice, for instance, Kitty? I hear a lot of warmth. I hear a lot of enthusiasm. And one definition of salesmanship is the transference of enthusiasm, right? You
Right.
have a sort of an ease about you, an easy smile, a laugh in your voice. If I had the camera turned off, if this were a podcast, for instance, all of that would come through. We're all energy, right? We're in, not to get too metaphysical, but like
Yeah.
we are walking, talking energy fields. So how you resonate is a sonic term, a sound term, but it's also a way of describing the the feeling that we emit and the way that people respond to us. What feelings do you evoke in other people when you speak? The feelings that you evoke, at least with me, Kitty, is fun, light, and easily approachable. And that's a big part of it because it's a platitude, but we do business with those we know, like, and trust. And your sound is already very likable. So that's a good key component right there.
Thank you. That's really great. So I was just thinking, obviously, with this group, it's all about growing personal brands. So I'm interested in how you communicate your personality. I mean, is that what you've already just spoke about, or how can people express themselves more and bring out that in their tone of voice?
Sure. I mean, I'm in the arts. I'm coming from a background in the arts as opposed to a background in business. And in the arts, we talk about the pursuit of truth and beauty. And so that's my aesthetic, is that I think honesty is at the core of what's important when you communicate. If you strip away all the veneers, all the masks of the way in which we represent our personas to other people, and we get down to who we are fundamentally and how it is that we're going to connect on a deep level with other people, what we get down to is honesty and integrity. And I think those are the most important qualities in a speaker. So, why don't people tend to approach communication and speaking that way? Because we take a risk when we do that. We take a risk of, well, perhaps we'll be judged, or perhaps we'll seem silly, or we'll be exposed for not knowing everything. Being an expert doesn't mean that you know everything. It's better to have a beginner's mind. honestly. Suzuki talked about that the trap with expertise is that you become like a sponge which can be filled rather than maintaining a beginner's mind, which allows you to take in and assimilate and incorporate new concepts, information, and perspectives. But honesty, that is the most important quality, I believe, because we have a deficit of trust in our society right now. And as human beings, when we hear authenticity and vulnerability and transparency, it cuts through, it resonates, and we connect with that. So I think it's worth the risk.
Absolutely brilliant.